Freelancer or agency? Both have their pros and cons. Which one should you pick? Hey, this is Umesh. If you are new to this channel, please do give this video a like and comment, and of course subscribe. Hit the bell notification to make sure you stay updated to any new videos. So let's go straight into the video. So let's start with freelancers. What are the pros and what are the cons of hiring a freelancer, or in this case, an animator? Well, one of the pros of an animator is that you're able to directly communicate with them. That means there's no middleman involved, there's no project manager involved. You're speaking directly with the person that's going to be producing your video. Another pro of having a freelancer or an animator is that they tend to be a lot more cost effective. So in many cases, you can get a good freelancer or an animator for around $500 in comparison to an agency where you're spending a couple of $1,000s for the same type of video. Another pro of having a freelancer is that they are already skilled in their art, which means you're talking with someone directly who actually knows what they're talking about when it comes to animation styles, when it comes to what animation style would work best, when it comes to the technical things of animation. So the cons of freelancers. The cons or the disadvantages of hiring an animator is that most animators are not native English speakers, which means most animators are based in countries such as Pakistan, India, Eastern Europe. Not many animators that you'll work with tend to be from UK or US, and as a result, even though you are having direct communication with the person that you're working with, if they don't understand English very well and that's not their native language, then you conveying what you want them to put in the video is going to be a whole new challenge in itself. So if you're trying to tell them, hey, this is what our business does, this is what message we want to convey, they're not going to really fully interpret what you're saying. Their main goal is creating a video, and that's it. You're giving them $500, they're going to make a video. They're not going to go into the extra mile in making sure the video converts. They're not going to give you marketing advice because they're not marketing savvy. In most cases, they don't understand storytelling very well. They just understand the actual technical skills, as how animation works, etc. So in this instance, that leads on to another disadvantage, which is they need babysitting. And this is really the reality. I've worked with clients in the past who have worked with freelancers, and they've worked with agencies, and they've then come to us as an agency, and they've told us that, yeah, we did work with a freelancer, they produced really good quality video, however, the amount of time investment we had to put in babysitting them, in telling them exactly what to do. I remember one of our clients, Anna, she even spoke about how she had to do the storyboard herself and visually show the animator what she wants, purely because the animator's English was not that good. And the amount of time investment she had to put into that project, was it really worth it? She paid $300 for the video. Was that really worth the time investment she had to put in? Because the video ended up taking more than 3 months to create, which is insane. And that's another thing with animators. You don't know how long the video is going to be because of the amount of time investment you need to put into the actual video. So agencies. First of all, what are the pros of an agency and hiring an agency? Aside from investing a bit more money into an agency, one of the main pros of an agency is that they tend to have a whole group of people that are involved in the project, which means you're not directly talking to just one person. There's a whole group of people involved. The first person would be like a project manager. So you'd have your own dedicated project manager who understands storytelling, they understand marketing, they understand exactly what makes a video that actually converts. They understand all these different things, and their sole job is to make sure the project runs smoothly, to make sure that you're 100% satisfied with results, and basically just to cater for you, the project manager. The next thing is that there's several animators involved, and one of the cons that I forgot to mention in the freelancer part is that with freelancers, they can be incredibly unreliable, because if you're hiring one person to make a video, what happens if they get sick? What happens if someone in their family passes away? What happens if they randomly just decide to disappear? These things actually happen. Whereas with an agency, they tend to have multiple freelancers, multiple animators, storyboard artists, so there's never a risk of someone disappearing, because if that does happen, there's another person in line that can take over the role and continue on where they left off. And this is a huge difference, because this means that if that ever was to happen, you're not wasting time having to find a new person. There's no stress involved. They take care of it, they take care of the creative direction, you just focus on your business. The next pro of an agency is that even though this is quite expected, is they have a lot better English. Because agencies tend to be native English speakers, you're talking with someone that's not only you're able to communicate things and you know that they're going to understand it, but B, you don't need to babysit them because they understand storytelling, they understand marketing, so their sole job is to be the creative director. With a freelancer, you're the person that has to take creative direction, you're the person that has to be more like the project manager of the project, whereas when you're hiring an agency, you don't need to do any of that. You just tell them what you want, you tell them about your business, and they will do the rest. They will ask you questions, they'll say, hey, here's what we recommend doing. Maybe you give them an idea, for example, hey, can we change this line of the script to this? They will tell you if that's a good idea or not. And that's because they understand, they are experts, they're experts in the industry, and they actually understand what will work and what will not work. And this is extremely important in producing a high converting video. So the next pro with agencies is that they tend to have a proven system in place. And this is where it all boils down to. With freelancers, how long the video takes is really varied. It can take anywhere from 3 weeks to 3 months to 6 months. Where with an agency, they tend to have a proven system in place, which enables them to have milestones as to when the video will be complete. So for example, if you were to start today, they can tell you an estimated project timeline as to when you can expect the video to be done. And that's because they've got a system in place which has worked, it's been proven in the past with previous clients, therefore there's less worry and strain on you in getting the video done. So price, what's the main difference in price? And this is the thing that really it all boils down to. Freelancers tend to be a lot more cost effective. You're looking at anywhere under £1,000 or $1,000. Anything under $1,000, you can get yourself a decent animator. Whether with an agency, you're looking at around $6,000 onwards. Most agencies nowadays tend to charge typically around $6,000 per 60 seconds. And that's the main thing that puts people off in hiring an agency, because it's so extreme. You've got one end, you can pay $500 for a decent animation video. Then on the other end, you've got an agency who charges $6,000, which for most companies, it's not a realistic figure they're able to invest. So at Pearl Lemon Videos, we've been able to optimize our process so well enough in the past 9 months, where we've been able to now charge $2,000 onwards for an explainer video, rather than an extreme rate of $6,000, which is not realistic for most companies. So what I want to leave it on is, which one should you really go for? Honestly, the answer depends on where your business is at. If you're a startup, for example, and you've got a ridiculously low budget, then perhaps hiring an animator for $300 or $400, perhaps that's worth it. However, please note that there is a bit of risk involved, because the person you're hiring, again, they don't understand storytelling, they don't understand marketing. So if you do choose to do that, what I highly recommend doing is hiring a copywriter or a scriptwriter separately. So not letting the animator take control of the script. That way, you know that you've got creative control over the most important part of the process, which is a script, as I spoke about in one of my previous videos. The next thing I want to point out is that if you are unsure and you're kind of on the fence of investing a couple of $1,000s because that's not something that you're able to afford, then in that case, I would recommend waiting and not risking that $400, $500 in a freelancer, purely because when you're hiring someone for a cheaper rate, you get what you paid for. And the last thing you want to do is invest a lot of time into a project for it to only be maybe not to your standards. Because at the end of the day, a video is going to be used for the next 1 or 2 years, so you want it to be done perfectly, especially if it's telling your company's story. So that's what I recommend. If you have any more questions on marketing or video, or perhaps you're interested in something, feel free to hit me up on LinkedIn and we can have a quick chat to see if video would be, or how video can be used for your business. So I shall see you in the next video, and peace.